This is my first Dreamforce from the inside, and I will say, being in San Francisco, you see Dreamforce from the outside, you just know there's a lot of traffic and a lot of cars. From the inside, oh my God, I'm so exhausted. This has been crazy. And so what I want to do today with all of you, knowing that this is your last day at Dreamforce, is I want us to get a little bit of exercise. I want to work on our visual muscle. What we have been focused on, really, kind of single-mindedly for the last decade, is trying to understand why it is that when we see something with our visual mind, it has such an incredible impact upon us in a way that words don't do. But what we really mean by that is understanding how our visual engine, something that all of us have, functions. So when I talk about our visual engine, I mean our eyes, our visual neocortex, our optic nerve, and our mind's eye. All of those things, this incredible machine that we have in our head, that is extraordinarily powerful and we tend to neglect or not think about. But when we do, amazing things happen. I want to start with one story about pictures. Here's some pictures. Does anybody know who these people are? They are from Game of Thrones, absolutely. So I have a story to tell you about Game of Thrones. And this is my problem. I have daughters. They're now old enough to actually watch this craziness. And they have told me that, Dan, you know, the closing season is coming up next year, so we've got to get prepared. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this Game of Thrones because I've learned some lessons. But before I do, look closely at this picture if you would. It's Thursday morning. I want to know if people see something that's wrong. Who's it? Gandalf. What the heck is Gandalf doing in the middle of Game of Thrones? That's a test. I just wanted to make sure that anybody was actually awake. Okay, so let's talk about Game of Thrones from a visual learning perspective. What do we learn from Game of Thrones? Well, I think there are a couple of lessons. Number one, work can be a battle. When I'm talking about work being a battlefield, what I really mean by that is just trying to get mind share, to get people to pay attention to what we're trying to talk about. Work can be a battlefield. Lesson number one. Lesson number two, whoever unevens the playing field wins. Now, if you haven't watched Game of Thrones, in every season there's these great set-piece battles, these enormous battles with thousands of people. And what happens is there's always two teams in these battles. And one team comes on with an expectation of how warfare battles are done. And they think they're going to win because they have the rule book and they know exactly how it comes. And then you watch. Every single time there's one of these battles, the other team comes in with something completely unexpected. They completely tilt the playing field. And they always win. Kind of an important lesson. Just approaching things from the standard rule book isn't going to win the battle for you. And the most incredible unevener of the battlefield is the dragon. So when Daenerys is on her dragon, talk about tilting the playing field to your benefit, that dragon can come in and destroy anything. I want to have a dragon. I want my dragon so that when I am in an RFP process, or when I'm trying to pitch a client, or when I'm trying to work with my team, and we're trying to get attention and mind share, I want this thing that I can come swooping in on, and I want this for all of you too, and just know that I can lay waste to anybody who doesn't agree with what I'm trying to get done. Well, guess what? I have a promise for you today. Well, we all do who are here. The promise is this. This is the promise that I make to you over the next 55 minutes. I'm going to give you a baby dragon. The baby dragon, the thing that you will have that unevens the playing field, is your visual mind. That is the baby dragon we're talking about. And we are going to draw that little baby dragon, and it's going to come out of here. Now, when we give this to you today, it's just going to be the dragon egg. You're going to have to nurture it yourself. We've only got 55 more minutes, so it's going to be really quick. All we can do is give you the starting point. Why is our visual mind so incredibly powerful? Why, if you unleash this dragon when you're working with your team, incredible things are going to happen.